Okay, how are you? I've been trying to record for a few minutes and it's just one thing after another. So here we are. I want to do a ball class. It's going to be a quick flow, so not a full hour. So definitely a lot of belly and some arms. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to start just sitting on the edge of your reformer, and you're going to take your ball, which is not very full. You can see mine's kind of squishy. And I'm gonna shove that right into my lower back. So just kind of adjusting, make sure it's in a good spot. So I'm keeping my feet grounded. My feet are forward from my knees. I don't wanna be under here because it just builds a lot of tension in the hips, okay? So taking a deep breath in with your arms reaching out, we're gonna tip the tail under, we're gonna roll behind the pelvis, drawing back until the ribs stay heavy into the ball. Taking a deep breath in, I'm gonna lead with my nose and I'm gonna curl through the spine, rolling back up to seated. Inhaling at the top, exhale as we roll under the tail, rounding back. Pause here, breathing in. Exhale, flexing into the ribs, curling through the spine, back to seated. Let's do 3 more. Two, tipping under, rolling behind the pelvis. And then really emphasizing that the ribs are flexing down into the hips to curl you back up. One more time, we're gonna stay back in this C curve. Relax the shoulders, relax the tension in the glutes, and let both arms lift to the sky and lower. As soon as my arms lift up, those belly muscles start quivering and working harder as that weight pulls down into the spine. For 3, 2, last one, we lift and lower, flex into those ribs, drawing you back up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, tip under the tail, rolling back. Relax the shoulders, again, relax the glutes. Flex your right thigh into you, lower it back down. The left thigh flexes in and alternate back and forth. Right leg, left leg. Keeping this deep C curve in your spine, keeping your pelvis curled under. I'm trying to emphasize my pubic tipping towards me. I don't want the pubic bone tipping down towards the floor because that keeps the hip flexors engaged. We want to keep the belly engaged. Last one on the left side, and then flex into those ribs as we come back up to seated. We're going to add on, tipping under that tail. We're going to stay on the same side. As we lift the right leg, we're going to lift the left arm, flexing both up together and releasing both down. 4 more on this side. Exhale for 3, finding that deep right oblique. 2, keep everything relaxed. Last one, and then those ribs flex you back up to seated. Taking a deep breath in at the top. Exhale, tipping under, rounding back. Left thigh, right arm flexes up together, releasing down. 2, keeping that gaze out in front of you for 3. Exhale to lift. 4 and 5. Using those abdominals to curl you back to seated. Now we're going to get into those obliques a little more by adding rotation. So we're going to tip under the tail and we're going to lean to the right and we're going to open out that right arm. Exhale sweeps you all the way back up to seated. Switching sides, leaning out to the left side, reaching to the left, and flexing back up. Now when I say lean, I want to purposefully feel as though my ribs and shoulders are staying on the side that I'm reaching towards. Because I see a lot in class how people shift, alternate sides. So it's like their body kind of goes in the opposite side, giving more of a twisting motion. And we really want to lean into it. This is going to stretch out that waistline as we lean out to the side. Let's do 1 more each side. And last set each round. All the way back in. So now we're going to take this ball out from underneath us, place it down onto the floor. We're going to lay ourselves back onto the reformer, bringing your legs up to tabletop. I like to scoot back so that my ribs can flex over the frame. I love this thoracic extension and I don't get any vertigo. So if you get vertigo, don't go back this far. Keep your legs up at tabletop. Your head and shoulders are gonna fold back, and exhale, curl forward. Inhaling as you go back, exhaling to flex, head and chest up. So this whole time as we curl forward, we want to keep the lower half completely steady and completely relax. Exhale to lift us. 2 more. On this last one, I want you to stay lifted and hold. We're going to march. One leg's going to tap down to the floor, back up. Other leg's going to tap down and up. Reach and flex. Reach and flex. For 3. Last set, each side. Hold those legs at tabletop. Let the head go back, taking a deep breath in. Upper abs are gonna curl and twist to the right. Inhale as you go back through center, up and over to the left. Inhaling, go back through center. Exhale, curl and twist. Inhale back, exhale, curl and twist. Inhaling back. Last set, each side. Grab the back of the thighs. Pull those knees in towards your chest, resting your abs and your head for just a moment. We're gonna add on. Drawing those hands back behind the head, curling head and chest back up, twisting to the right. The right leg's gonna tap down and lift up. Tap down and up. For 3, 2, 1. Bring it center. Let the head go back down. Take a deep breath in. Curl and twist over to the left as the left leg taps down and up. Last one. Hold it here. Let the head go back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, curl and twist to the right. Extend the left leg. Stay lifted through the center as we switch and switch. Switch and switch. 3, 4. Last set each side. Draw it center. Grab the back of the thighs. Curl yourselves up to seated. That definitely warmed me up, so hopefully you're warmed up too. All right, we're gonna knock down to just a blue spring, or a light spring. And then be sure your headrest is flat. Go ahead and grab your straps, make sure they're even. And we're gonna sit with our legs long through the headrest. I'm gonna choke up to my shorter loops and working the upper back and arms. We're keeping those arms long as we pull out to the sides and resist as we close it back in. Exhaling as we pull wide. Inhaling as we close. Sitting nice and tall. Really working those upper arms. Keeping them really straight, keeping the wrists really straight. So really focusing on the upper back and upper shoulders. Let's do 4, 3, last 2, and one last time. We pull out and we close those arms back to center. We're not gonna do as many repetitions, but we're gonna tip the tail under. We're gonna roll behind the spine, C curve, relax the shoulders. Same thing here. Arms open out and close. Exhale to pull. Relaxing the glutes. Long wrists, long arms. Two more. Last one. And then curl all the way back to seated. So I'm going to cross my right ankle over the top of my left ankle, and that just gives my legs a little bit more room to move. So I'm going to tip my tail under, I'm going to round back. I'm going to hold my arms out to the sides, keeping them here as I lift the right leg, lower the right leg, exhale up and down for 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg, curl through the spine back to seated. Take a deep breath in at the top. Exhale, tip the tail under, roll behind the bottom. This time the leg's gonna stay lifted and we're just gonna move those arms out and in. Exhale, pull and release. Strong leg for 3. Strong upper arms, pull for 2 and 1. Lower the leg, curl the spine back up to seated. Now we're gonna move both at the same time. So tipping the tail under, rolling back. At the same time the leg kicks, the arms are gonna open and release. Staying back in this C curve as we pull apart and release. For 3, finding that balance point of how high you can kick and how wide you can open. Last 2. Deep core connection. Last 1. Release and curl back up to seated. So this last variation is we're going to fold up at the same time. So at the same time we kick the legs up, we're going to open the arms and lift the spine towards the leg. So we're going to roll under the tail, rounding back. So as we kick the leg up, we're going to open the arms and lift the spine, lower the leg, release the arms, release the spine. Lift everything together, releasing everything together. For 3, and down. Exhale, up and down. 1 more. Up, release. Use your abdominals to curl you to seated. Unfortunately, we have another side. So let's switch our legs. Sitting up nice and tall in the spine. We're going to tip the tail under. We're going to roll back. And we're going to just open, close those arms. For 8. Exhale, pull. Working those upper back muscles. 6. Feel that deep scoop in the belly, keeping those ribs flexed forward. We've got 4. Exhale, pull for 3. Working those upper back muscles for 2. Definitely feel that belly. Last 1. And then those abs curl you back to seated. Now we're gonna stay back there, holding those arms open. So rolling back, open the arms, lift and lower the leg for 5. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Curl yourselves back up to seated. Take a deep breath in at the top. Tip the tail under, roll back. We're going to hold the leg lifted and just move those arms out and in. Exhale, pull and release. For 3. Shakes and quivers in that belly. 2. Oh my goodness, 1 more time. Whew. And curl all the way back up to seated. All right, we got 2 more rounds. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, rolling under the tail. Stay back here in the C curve. Kick the leg and open the arms at the same time, releasing both. Kick and open together, release together. For 3. Exhale, 2. 1 last time. Kick, release, curl back up to seated. The next one is where we fold together. So we're lifting the spine and the leg at the same time. So first let's find that C curve. Relax the shoulders, relax the glutes. As we open the arms, we kick the leg and we lift the spine up and release everything back down. Lift together, release together. For 3, 2, 1. Release and use those abdominals to curl you up. Let's release those straps off to the side. So I'm going to put my foot bar up on my high bar. And then we're going to have 1 red, 1 blue, or medium spring tension. Okay. We're going to grab our ball again. So let's lay on down. Your headrest is gonna be flat because we're gonna do some bridging variations. I'm gonna keep my right foot on the foot bar. I want my heel in line with my butt bone specifically. And you can have your arch, heel, ball of foot, whatever feels good, onto the foot bar, pressing down through the back of the arm and shoulder. This is gonna feel kind of light at first. We're just extending the leg, pressing all the way out. The ball's underneath the left leg. And then we're pulling all the way back in. Keeping that left leg stable at tabletop as we press out and in with this right thigh. What I really want to focus on is how my right thigh is hinging down into the hip as I come back down into the bumper, okay? 2 more. Last one, hold it long. So I'm really feeling like I can drive that leg out into the foot bar. So I really want this leg to stay straight and strong. You have to figure out like where you want the foot. My foot bar is kind of hard, so it's kind of hard for me to figure out where I want to put my foot. But I'm really trying to focus on keeping my legs straight. And I'm gonna lift those hips up and lower the hips down. Lift the hips, lower the hips. Exhale, lift for 3. Driving into the foot bar for 2. Think of my hips being light as feathers. Last 1. Lower it down. I'm going to stay out here nice and long, and I'm going to tap my left leg down to the spring and hinge it back into tabletop. Tapping down and lifting up. Focusing on this left oblique as I move my left leg. Focusing on this left thigh, swinging in my hip socket. 1 more time. Hold it here. Lift those hips up. Do the same thing. Tap down. Lift up. 4. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 2. Last one. Lower the hips. Bend the knee back into the bumper. So I want you to feel how this leg is bent at 90 degrees. So when we're coming back down into the bumper, we're going to push out and in. I want you to really keep your pelvis flat, neutral. Don't let your pelvis tuck. Don't let your glutes or hips to take over. Okay, so while we're here in the bumper, press down through the back of the arms and shoulders. Hover your spine. My pubic bone is pointing away from me. My spine's nice and long. I'm going to inhale to press out. I'm going to exhale, flex into the hip to pull me in. Inhaling to extend. Exhale, flexing in. For 3. 2, pressing through back of the arms and shoulders. 1 last time. Pull it in and lower down. We're going to switch sides. Placing the ball underneath that right leg. This is going to be harder on this side because I've had plantar fasciitis on this foot, so it's very sensitive. So pressing away, extending from that hip, flexing back into that hip socket. Inhaling as you push. Exhale as you flex back in. For 3, tail stays heavy, pressing down through the back of the arms and shoulders. Extend and flex. 2 more. On this last one, I want you to stay long. Press down through the back of the arms and shoulders. Legs driving into the foot bar. We lift the hips. We lower the hips. Lift the hips. Lower the hips. Feel light as you press up. 2 more. Up. Last one. Lift. Lower the hips. Let's move that right leg. We tap it down and we lift it up. Hinging from the leg socket like a pendulum. Finding this right oblique, right waistline. For 3, 2, 1. Hold it here. Press those hips back up. Tap the right leg down and up. For 5. Down and up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hips. Bend the knee back into the bumper. Again, feel what it feels like to have the spine nice and long and the leg is flexed in at 90 at the hip socket. From here, we're going to hover the spine, keeping that pubic bone tipped away from you. You're going to inhale to push out, exhale to flex in, out, exhale, in. Letting go of the glutes as you come in so that thigh has room to move in the hip socket. 1. Last one. All the way back in, lower it down. Let's place the ball between the inner thighs and we're closer to our body, not our knees, okay? So again, arches our heels on the foot bar. This time we're gonna bridge all the way up. So we're trying to articulate through the spine and really open the hips at the top. Keep those ribs connected at the top. Feeling that squeeze of those inner thighs onto the ball. And melt the spine down one bone at a time. Try not to root down into the feet. Just think of the pelvis, peeling the hips, the spine away from the mat. Breathing in at the top, melting upper back, middle back, lower back, tailbone. Inhaling at the bottom, exhaling as we lift. Open the hips at the top, breathing in. Exhale, melting down, bone by bone, back into the mat. Inhaling at the bottom, exhaling as we lift. Stretching open at the top, pressing through back of the arms and shoulders. Roll through the spine, one bone at a time. On this one, we're gonna stay lifted at the top, hold it here. Squeeze that ball in. Hips stay up, tall, long legs. 3, 2, hold. Lower those hips down with control. So instead of lifting all the way up, we're gonna keep this nice long flat back and we're just gonna hover just like we did with our single leg. I'm tipping my pubic bone away from me. I'm keeping this nice long hovering spine. I'm gonna inhale as I push out. I'm gonna exhale as I flex back in. Pressing through the back of the arms and shoulders. Exhale down into the bumper. 3. Tail stays wide. Sit bones stay wide as you come down into the bumper. 5. 4. Finding those deep pelvic floor muscles as you exhale in. We've got 2 more. Last one. And lower down. Let's remove that ball. Let the soles of your feet draw together. Let your knees go wide. And just relax those hips for a moment and breathe. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Okay, rock yourselves up to seated. We're gonna take that red spring off and just go back to that light spring, our blue. We're going to do a kneeling series with our straps and our ball. So the awkward part is that we're gonna put the straps in our hands and then the ball's gonna be in our right hand as well. So if you don't wanna kneel, you can always sit. Either is totally fine. All right. So as far as your feet, you can have them up the shoulder pads like so, or you can have them flat like so. Whatever gives you that better sense of stability in your spine. So my palms are facing forward, my arms are down by my sides. They're starting in line with the hips. I don't want to go behind the hips because it front loads the shoulder and gives you bad posture. So we always want to start in line with the body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as your arms reach forward. You're going to switch the ball into your left hand, and then we're going to lower those arms back down. Exhale to reach forward, switch, and release. Keeping those glutes relaxed so you feel that deep pelvic floor connection. When our hips hold tension, we lose out on the belly. You hear me saying that a lot. This one is about a light spring tension with a lot of different repetitions. So this next one, we're gonna hold the ball on the right hand and we're gonna lower because we're gonna add on. So this time we're gonna open out to the sides. We're gonna close the arms, switch into the left, open back out, lowering the arms back down. Exhale to lift, close those arms, open the arms, lower the arms. Open and lower. Think of making a T, crossing the body, switching the ball. One more each side. So we're going to the left. We're gonna hold it here. Stay lifted with those arms opening out. A little more tension in that pinky finger. So we feel that connection under the ribs and shoulders. Just hug a tree. Close and stretch it out. Exhale to close and stretch it out. Keeping those arms nice and long, but your elbows are soft. We're feeling like we're wrapping in from those underarms as we switch the ball. And then we'll lower those arms down. So the ball's in that right hand. This time, it's the hardest one. We're going all the way up overhead. So we're going out to the sides, up overhead, back out to the sides as we lower down. Out to the sides, switch overhead, out to the sides as we lower down. Again, checking in with those hips, root down through those shins, pressing into the mat. Growing tall through the crown of your head, finding a focus point. I love looking out my window because it's just nice and green out there in my backyard. Nobody to look out but my pretty green backyard. I actually have a fire pit out here that I'm staring at. So I have like a circle out in the middle of the yard. We're gonna finish up with this one with the right hand and release. Good job. Let's go ahead and hang up those straps. We're gonna step off on the right side. So my right leg is forward and my left toes are back at the shoulder pad behind me. Starting with our lunges, we're gonna sink into that right hip, drawing back and down. Drive into the heel to stand you up tall. Sink back and down and stand up tall. So as I'm sinking back, I'm trying to focus on staying open through this front hip flexor. Try not to sink into my hip and lean forward with my trunk. I really want to focus on staying tall in my spine. We've got 4 more. For 3. Last 2. And 1. Bring it all the way back in. Draw your hands down on the foot bar. Flatten your back, straighten both of those legs. First split stretch. Breathing back. Oh, we have a bear. Hello, Mr. Bear. Last one. All the way back in. So before we go to the other side, because you know I don't jump right over to the other side, we're going to do something a little different in the middle before we finish with our left leg. So feet against the shoulder pads or flat, whichever works best for you. And we're going to go into like a down stretch. So heart's forward, hips forward, chest is open. Push into those shoulder pads. Oops, I forgot to change my spring. Sorry guys. You got out of one red. I was wondering why those lunges felt so hard. Woo! All right, so we're on 1 red, hips forward, heart forward. Pushing away, dropping those hips down into the springs, lifting the hips and the heart as you come into the bumper. Pushing away, dropping down, lifting the heart as we come in. You know what that means. We have to do the other side with a light spring too. That's what happens when I have this cover on. I'm not looking at my springs and paying attention. Last 2. Feel the hips dropping into the springs. Last one. Bringing it all the way back in. So from here, I don't want to sink or sag my hips down into the springs. I want to find that long line like a modified plank. So this is a modified long stretch. So from here, keep my heart lifted, my gaze lifted, my shoulders back as I push away, and then shifting those shoulders back over the foot bar. The foot bar won't, or the carriage won't fully close. Shifting back with the chest, the shoulders, and forward. For 3, exhaling it in. 2, oh, and we got a kitty cat coming in too. 1 more. Good. So we're gonna add on. We're gonna lower for a push-up and extend those arms for 5. Down. Exhale up for 4. Find your ribs to lift you. 2 more. Last one. We're gonna add on again. So we're gonna lower the chest, push the foot bar away. Long arms, bring your shoulders back over the foot bar. Push up, lower, press away. Long arms, bring you in for 3. Good. Hi, Yoga. 4. Hi, buddy. 1 more. All the way back in. We're gonna reverse that. Straight arms push you away. Bend your elbows as you come in. Press straight up. Push out. Bend your elbows back as you come in. Push straight up. For 3. 2. 1 more. And rest. Sit it back. Child's pose. Stretch your arms out long over the top of the frame. Breathing into those shoulders. So we're gonna finish up with those lunges. And I'm sorry, but we gotta do it on a light spring because we did on the other side. I had a feeling it felt a little bit more challenging. What's the matter, Yo-Yo? Hey, buddy. All right, tall spine. Don't make me lose my balance here. Sinking back into that left hip. Remember, try not to sink into that hip flexor. Try to stay tall. We're trying to stay open in that hip as we drop back and down. Four more. 3. Last 2. Last 1. Both hands on the foot bar. Straighten those legs. Split stretch back with a long spine. And pivot forward. A few times. Back and forward. Feeling that stretch through the hip on the right side, down the hamstring on the left. 1 more. And in. Let's have a seat. Let's do a little figure 4 stretch. Crossing right ankle over your left thigh. Leaning your hips forward, stretching out your hip. Deep breaths. Switching sides, leaning forward, breathing here. My fur kids are beginning to really enjoy each other because Yoda followed Bear up here, so speaks volumes. I'll have to angle the camera over to them. There they are. And there's little Yo. They're cute. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, whatever you choose to do. Thank you for joining me.